is like every day, like even when it's a challenging, like this is maybe where you're supposed to be. What are you going to do with it? Life gives you lemons.
Right.
You can make lemonade or what. So life's giving you this. What are you going to do with it? How are you going to grow, or how are you going to help somebody else grow?
You're listening to Local Rapport, and I'm your host, Sam Flores. I believe when asked the right questions, people have compelling stories to tell. And when these stories are shared, the unique perspectives and experiences have universal appeal.
And here's the thing, did the teacher may have done something wrong? Possibly.
Right.
Did the parent have done something different here? Possibly.
Yeah.
While we're trying to figure out which one to blame, you know who gets robbed in this situation? The kid.
In this podcast, you'll hear from our locals of Calhoun County, Texas, and the surrounding areas as they share their stories, roles, and experiences.
We're actually going to go to protest on what's going on in this world. So kind of nervous, kind of excited, new place, but you know there's going to be a lot of people there and
Right.
could be violence too, but
Right.
gotta live a little.
All right, what do you consider your gravest achievement?
Dang.
Oh my god, how can I answer that funny?
I don't know.
I'm with you on that.
I sat on Shamu when I was 2 years old. After that, it all went downhill.
Well, I've had carbon monoxide poisoning twice in my life, and it
there you
didn't
go.
kill me those 2 times
Why did it happen twice?
because I didn't learn the first time.
He's silently judging over here.
This podcast is about building better neighbors one conversation at a time. And I hope by listening that you may find yourself invested in Calhoun's greater story at large.
And she come running in there about 5 minutes later, screaming and hollering, telling me, get up, let's go. And I'm like, what are you talking about? She goes, Frankie, the plant is on fire. And I'm like, no, it's not.
My goodness.
And so she drugged me to the window, because right outside the window is the flare.
Right.
And the whole tip of the flare had exploded. And so right about then, another explosion went off, and everything shook again, and I could feel the heat coming through the window.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, okay, yeah, I think it's time to leave.
Let's chat.
Yeah, that was a crazy day.
I had my procedure, and the funny thing was, as soon as I came out of anesthesia and I just got put back into the room, we had a playoff game 2 days later in Houston. So we were at NRG Stadium.
Yeah.
And the first thing I requested whenever I got out, I was like, I need to be good to go to Houston in 2 days. Like, I need to go to that game.
Right.
Like, I don't care what I have to do. I don't care how much I have to walk, how much, like, what I have to take. I was like, well, you have to go to that game.
And your doctor's response was?
They wrote it on the board. That's the thing.
That's the goal?
The goal is to be at NRG Stadium in 2 days.
You can find this podcast on our website, localrapport.org, and even your other favorite listening platforms like Apple, Google, Spotify, and even watch us on YouTube. Thanks again for listening to Local Rapport, your neighbor's podcast.